In my last video of recreating Murray's costume manor from Secret of the Mimic in Minecraft, we took a look at the main two basements of the costume manor and recreated the White Tiger tunnels and the Sleeping Moon basement. In today's episode, we are going to be finishing off the basement and the entire costume manor itself by building RND and the investor ride that leads all the way into the house. And now let's see what we need to know. So, at the end of RND, or well, the main game itself, we are now in the ending scene of the game with Arnold right there. We are at the end of the game right after the mimic chase, and as you can see, all the debris has fell from the ceiling and there's proto mimics falling everywhere with all of these like wires and stuff blocking the way you have to crouch under. Mr. Helpful on a little cart ride that goes all the way up here that would connect back underneath the doll hospital, or near it at least, where it cuts off here, but it's actually longer. I'm gonna make it longer in the game just so it connects to MCM. Hi, Mimic. Hi. So what is this? Wall. So going back over here, this is where the Mimic's chase actually takes place, and there is like some molten lava on the floor from like the vats right there, because I don't know, MCM's exploding for some reason. But it's pretty cool that you can see like there's this track with the roof that fell down where there's no roof that actually fell down, but there are pipes on the ceiling where you'd go through here, there would be lava, you would pull this lever up here, Mimic would come through this door, or whatever this door is. Then there would be this executive permission door right here, and then the massive room with all these pipes right here that with the elevator that leads to the inventor's house, and then we have the window of lava at the very end of this tube right here, which I think is pretty cool. We then have this room which is filling up with lava at the moment, which will not be built that way. The catwalks that connect to this room, where you would go up here, the catwalk would fall M2 and you'd go back up here, then you would go back onto the car ride, and that's where we are now. So we can walk onto. Here's Mr. Helpful. You can see all of the raining bricks from the ceiling that is just appearing out of nowhere. So we obviously in the game, this is a lot shorter, like very not long, but I need for it to connect up in the Minecraft map. I'm gonna have to make these tunnels a lot longer, and I'm gonna add these pipes and stuff, but I'm not gonna add like all of this debris that you see here. I'm just gonna probably add the pipes, the like sort of railing, and that's about it. I'm not gonna add all these pipes and missing holes because that did take me hours. Now right here is actually the doll hospital. As you can see, that's the door that you would go in at the beginning of the doll hospital part, and then you have the track over here which proves it's the doll hospital, as well as the mic with the security office which is right above the doll hospital, which is proves even further that this is the doll hospital. We then have this room which also connects up, which completes the track of the doll hospital. It connects up through this room, which I have an idea of how it's going to look, but I'm going to talk about that in the time lapse. This door would open up to the retail showroom, and that's it. I'm just realizing now that I didn't record any footage of the outlines for R&D. So we're just going straight into the speed build. Now R&D has some very weird colors. It's not like that a usual dark gloomy basement with brick walls. It's a weirdly colorful room. Like, it does have lots of gray, but it's not normal gray. It's like bluey gray. Like, I use clay for the walls there and light blue terracotta, because like all these shells again, they're like blue with the orange, and then the yellow stripe on the wall with the bright green box where like the main pizzeria is, and like has all these boxes which are orange, the massive Freddy head in the room which is brown. It just has a bunch of different colors. It was like cyan, orange, red stripes. It has like almost everything from every area in the almost said Pizzaplex then, in MCM. It's got the shells from the warehouse, the colors from the doll hospital, the stripes from the big top showroom. It's just got a bunch of different things in it that I find so weird. And then the main pizzeria itself, it is basically just FNAF 1. It's basically just FNAF 1. With like a few minor changes, those being mainly where the safe room would be and the prize counter. Now the prize counter is just where M2 emerges, not much, and it's got a lot of these filler like decorations, like TVs on the wall, random tables with like random storage units, like the terminal that you use to start the actual R&D section. You also have the prototypes of each animatronic, which I did use by making walls. I don't know if I want to make them armor stand models, at least not right now, because when I am done with the next episode, I'm going to take a break from MCM until I get a better PC. Because right now, I take one look at the costume manor, I just point my crosshair over there, and my FPS drops to 30. So I do not know how much longer I can do this until I get a new one in December. So, break, I think. So it's very colorful as well. Like I said, the gray isn't plain gray. It's like it goes from very light gray, like a classic FNAF 1 pizzeria, to a very dark gray, which I really like. Like each room has a different wall. Like the bathrooms, they have a grayish and a wooden and then a grey thing at the same time. In the kitchen, it's the same thing as the other room with the bluey grey. And then you just have this with like, there's just so much colours in RND. It's colourful and I just like it. It's also got these stages where all the Springlock suits are. Like you have the Proto Fredbear, Proto Spring Bonnie, Proto Monty, like Springlock Monty and all that. And it's just, it feels like a pizzeria. And then you have this main room right here with the F10 and 4. So that is R&D all built up, and as I would like to show you, it is a pretty decent build, and I love like the colors like I mentioned in the time-lapse. Of course, we have the endoskeletons and the prototype Freddy, which I built with walls. We do have the gray and the sign, the terminal that you would activate, and then M2 would rise from this rubble pile and start chasing you, and then you would have to walk around and grab all the Springlock suits, like this one which would contain Bub, which is just 2 blocks high, because this room is very hard to fit. As you can see, I had to use a banner or else it would have clipped into this area and you would have been able to see it. Actually, the locker is blocking some of it, so I might be able to get away with doing this, and then yeah, so you won't be able to see it, and I could probably like grab this sign right here, just or banner, banner, I could just put a banner there. See, problem solving. And this room has another terminal window that leads into the bathroom with all these posters and like the inventory tube system. You can have the audio log right there, which would be about hen. You would go down into the bathroom, and this door would be blocked by a shelf and this ventilation part back here that would lead you into the kitchen, which we're not doing now. We're touring the bathroom. So you would go into this one right here by crouching under this door, because it's the only door that's open, and you would walk past prototype Bonnie. You would go down here, and this is parts and service over here, with of course the crane and the fans on the ceiling. So in here you would have an exact same thing as the bathrooms, with this small little area with the construction pillars, parking lot thing, an elephant behind a gate. We would go through this vent which would lead into the hallway or the room, the supply closet with Spring Bonnie, which the vent would be right here. And I thought it would be behind me for some reason. So there you have the stage. You will be able to wind it up. You would go down this hallway into the room with the mixing machine, or F10 and 4, which I quite like how it turned out. Of course, you can then go down into this other hallway, which, of course, behind this locker is the areas that we have yet to build, being the Investors Ride that leads up into the house. Now, of course, I forgot to show off the kitchen, so let's just show it off. It's pretty boring. It's got a couple walls and that, and then just some like wires. Of course, we have to build this, which is just very long repetitive tunnels, because like I said, to get it to be accurate to the game, to where the house would be with the elevator and then the actual like main tunnels right here, that would need to be very long to connect back up to MCM, because MCM is pretty far away. So it's just going to be a very long tunnel with barely any decorations besides the same ones. Now, with the Investors Ride, I tried to limit amount of what I showed on the time-lapse, or else this video would be an hour long, because it took me a long time to build this Investors Ride, because it's pretty big, and I'm going to be honest right here, this was not fun to build. I was mumbling to myself while I was building this, and whining and complaining, if that's the term you'd like to use, about why Steel had to make such long, boring rooms that no one wants to build. Obviously, it's not Steel's fault, because they're not like, let's make a game that some random guy can make into Minecraft and make it easier for him. Because these areas are good to look at, but they're not fun. Because like you're in them for like 2 seconds just to like get a point across, like these long tunnels. The long tunnels past this, you'll be able to see they're very long, as I showed out in the outlines, and they serve no purpose just besides to be logical, to make sense instead of you just teleporting to one place. And they were not fun to build at all. I was just like, why Steel? Why you gotta make something so boring? I want to edit, not build this at 6 in the morning. So that's what I had to do, and as you can see, look at how long that was. Now, this is like a very boring room, so I limited the time-lapse to just this room, so you're not going to see anything else. But this room was pretty interesting to me, because it had the 4 lava vats, and then all of the pipes around them. And I think I did pretty well with this room, with all the catwalks and the doors and the wires and stuff, as there's two versions of it, one during the mimic chase and one not. And I've decided for every room, I'm going to make it not mimic, like non-destructed. I want this factory to be as clean as it would be before Arnold ever got there. So of course, this is actually finishing off MCM completely. So we have the entire RND, so let's take a look at the most boring room I've ever created. So as you can see, this is the room that I was whining about in the time-lapse, but we have, of course, the classic ride from the doll hospital, this long hallway with the door that leads into this lava room that I was talking about with the vats and all that. Vats. So you would then go down this little tunnel, and you would go into, I realized I misspelled that. I am missing the slabs, no, mud and granite, there we go. I am missing the slabs, and let's add texture. You cannot have a FNAF build without texture. So there you go, have the window, and this would be the room with the mimic chase that would happen. You'd pull this lever right here, it would open the door, and then you would go down here. So then here is the room with all these pipes. Now, of course, you would click this button to actually enter the investor's house, where you would go up into the elevator, and of course, the house isn't there, because that's for the final episode. So, in the mimic chase, you would be going around here to get back, so then you would go down here. So, if we're going to do the mimic chase, we would go down here, and we would continue running. Of course, there would be a rubble pile in front of us, but I did not build that, because like I said, I want it to be clean factory, not destroyed. So, you then would open this door. You would run around here past all these shelves and flick this lever right here, where the mimic would burst through the door, and we would have to run through this, which would have just opened just then. We would go down here. Now, of course, that would be covered up, so you would go down here, and then you would have to go through the mimic path. So you would go this way, because I have this path memorized. Yippee. Go down here, and you would end up in this room. So just taking a look at the other rooms first, they're pretty basically copied and pasted, most of these side rooms, with they're just got the entrance with the lava vats, a couple things. There's not a slab there. Let me grab this one. So yeah, there's not a lot of slabs. There's just magma and all that, lava everywhere, spilling out. And the way I achieve this with a magma block of resin, and honeycomb block to give the effect of lava instead of just using lava, because we do not want to explode or burn down MCM just yet. You would then go in this room, you would walk up to this door, and of course you would then go up this staircase. Go up this staircase, take a left turn, you would pull this lever, which I always forget to do when I play the game. Go down here, of course Mimic M2 would come down, and the catwalk would fall, and this right here represents where you would climb back up into this room, where you have to crouch underneath with all this rubble falling from the ceiling, where there would be all the proto-mimics landing on you in your way, with, I have just represented it with black concrete too, so there's not just looking out into nothing. You go down here into this investor's ride car, and then you go on, like I said, this very exaggerated long little tunnel thing. And it does, like I said, it does actually connect up to the doll hospital. I'm surprised it actually was managed to do that. So, and then this room, and this may look different to you, and that's because I decided to make it clean, which was what I was going to talk about. I don't want Arnold, why? To the retail showroom. It connects to the retail showroom, and like I said, I want it to be like clean before Arnold ever got here. So I've kind of used my imagination to imagine what it would look like with all the props that were there, like with all of this, which I think looks weird, so I'm just going to add this. So all of the props that were there in the burning version, I just decided to fix them up with the elephant and all that, just to make it look a bit more respectful. Well, I don't know how to say it. And then, there was the garage door which you would go through, and I just thought it would be better if it was before Arnold lit the fire. Of course, you would then go out here, and it would be into the exterior, which is also in the next episode. Joy. Absolute joy I'm gonna feel for the next episode. But this actually completes MCM, and it does actually extend a lot out from MCM. Of course, you can actually enter RND through this right here. You'll go down this tunnel with all of these holes where Music Man, Big Top will come out of that one. Go down here, and then you would use your executive permissions to open this door, where you would then go down here, open this door, which leads into the main R&D storage area. So right here inside of this, we have my favorite room. I have to say, I really like how it turned out. With the stage, you'll go back over here to this giant Freddy head. That is presumably the one from Security Breach, but I don't think so, because it's Glamrock Freddy in Security Breach, not regular Freddy. You would then act as generator by moving your mouse. You would then go, and it would open up the curtain. In the Minecraft build, it's already open, just so I said so. and I have also added the terminal. M2 would rise up, attack us, and would have to go through everything. Now, obviously, right now, you're not meant to go through this vent because you can't jump and secret. What did I do? What did I do? Alright, Evan fixing mistakes, and I have to do it again. Evan fixing mistakes, holy moly, and never expected mistake. Alright, get back in the vent and get rid of those. So you then go down here into this vent, which you would then go into the closet and get everything that you need. So, security office with, of course, F10 and 4. Go down this hallway, which I just toured. So as you can see, I have used red terracotta as the base for this, and pale oak sign and dark oak sign. Now this is what the bedrock port will look like, but I have a different idea for a Java edition, so I'm just going to show that off right now. Now I've changed something, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. You're just going to have to guess it. Have you guessed it yet? Let's see. Have any of you guessed it? I'll just wait, and I'll show you. It was map art. If you didn't get that, you are blind as hell. So right now, I have changed the signs with map art, just to make it look more better. I left a sign there. Just to make it look more intriguing, or interesting than just using the signs, because map art is overall better than using signs, because I don't know, but I'm pretty sure they are less laggy because they're entities, not block entities, which are causing me lag. So I've placed them everywhere that they needed to be around the map, and they are making it stunning. This actually completes the entirety of MCM, as the only things are left are the chase sequences and the exterior and the mansion on top of this, because this RND actually extends out to everything, making this actually the complete of MCM. There are a few things like I just mentioned that will be done in the next episode, so if you are waiting for those to see those, you just have to wait until next week, where we will be taking a look at the mansion, exterior, and the terrain around MCM. This actually brings us to the end of today's episodes, and it was so much fun for me to put together R&D besides the Investors Ride, and I hope you all enjoyed me watching it. Now, next week will be the final episode of MCM, aka the finale of the entire game, that being building the mansion, the exterior, and the terrain. I hope you all enjoyed it, and of course, I'll see you in Sodom Episode 9!